So let's talk about honoring God in our work. When we think about honoring God in our work, our why matters deeply. Godly ambition is at the heart of all good work. Our work is bound up in our why. And God is deeply interested in why we do what we do. And brothers, ambition is not bad. In fact, ambition is essential because God is honored by hard and faithful work. Think about Colossians 3:17. Whatever you do in word or deed, do everything in the name of the Lord Jesus, giving thanks to God the Father through Him. Colossians 3:23. Whatever you do, work heartedly, as for the Lord and not for men. The Bible's telling us that everything we do, we're doing it in the name of Jesus. We're doing it to honor God. Therefore, we should want to give our best. We should want to give our most. We should have this holy ambition about the things we do, whether it's making coffee, building bridges, coaching high school basketball. It doesn't matter. It's all done unto the Lord. And when we think about our why, we need to remember that laziness is destructive and it's unprofitable. James K. Smith said, the opposite of ambition is not humility, it's passivity and timidity and complacency. That's the opposite of ambition. We think ambition, we think pride, so we think we need humility. But no, the unambitious person is typically lazy and complacent. Proverbs 18:9 says, whoever is slack in his work is a brother to him who destroys. Think about that. Whoever is lazy in his work is actually a destructive person. Proverbs 13:4, the soul of the sluggard craves and gets nothing, while the soul of the diligent is richly supplied. Like the lazy person gets nothing. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, almost 40% of the available working age population in the United States is not working today. I want you to think about that. Nearly 40% of all working age men are not working today. In 1950, over 85% of working age men were actively working. Currently, that number is below 65%. We have more able-bodied men staying home and not working than China has in a standing army. As a matter of fact, China's standing army is 2 million men. We have almost 10 million men not working in our country today. It's unfathomable. That's laziness. It's passivity. It's timidity. It's the opposite of courage, and it's certainly the opposite of ambition. Right? Sometimes though, ambition can be selfish. I want you to think about selfish ambition. Selfish ambition is rooted in all the wrong values, right? Comparison and jealousy turn ambition into relational chaos in our work environments. Comparison and jealousy, they'll fuel selfish ambition. James 3:16 says, for where jealousy and selfish ambition exist, there will be disorder and every evil practice. Right? When we're jealous of someone, right? When we're constantly comparing what we have to what they have, what we do to what they do, what happens? We can become selfishly ambitious, right? We want to go and do and earn more. Why? Not for the sake of glorifying God, not for the sake of bettering those around me, but I want more so that I can have more than Him. And that's a problem, right? Think about pride. Pride can take ambition and turn it into self-exaltation and self-seeking. Philippians 2:3, do nothing from selfish ambition or conceit, but in humility think of others as more important than yourself. Right? Pride will take ambition and make it about me. I want to be ambitious, not to better my family, not to better my neighbor, not to take ground for King Jesus, but I want to be ambitious because I want to take ground for Chris. And I can't tell you how many years of my life I lived like this. Everything I did, every decision I made, every good and worthy endeavor was all about advancing me. It wasn't, Chris, you need to decrease so that King Jesus could increase. I was okay with King Jesus increasing as long as I was increasing. That was fueled by pride. Think about greed, right? Greed turns ambition into self-indulgence and self-destruction, 1 Timothy 6:9. But those who desire to be rich fall into temptation, right? They will be ruined. They'll fall into destruction. That's what greed does. Greed takes ambition and it turns it into self-indulgence. It turns it into self-destruction. So what's the opposite of that? What's the opposite of prideful, selfish, greedy ambition? Well, it's diligence. Diligence is at the heart of all good work, right? Diligence is what occurs when we responsibly use the gifts and talents God gives us to accomplish the work we have to do. Not for selfish gain, but we're taking those gifts, we're taking those talents, not promoting me, we're promoting Him. We're going to use those gifts and we're going to use those talents to accomplish the work God has us to do for His glory, right? Paul models diligence when he speaks of his tireless work in trying to minister to the Colossians. Paul says, "For this I toil, struggling with all his energy that He powerfully works within me." Paul is toiling. He is working diligently, not to promote him, but to promote God's agenda. So what does a diligent man look like? Well, we know that a diligent man plans and prepares for his work. Think about that. You have a work you've been given. You probably have like an overall task. You have a job, a calling, a vocation, but even within that, you have daily tasks. You have daily assignments. You have daily things that you need to get done within the larger scheme of whatever it is you're doing. And as a man, like a godly man, a man honoring God through his work, he is planning and he is preparing for his work, all of his work. Not just the great task, but those small, menial tasks that you think, I don't need to plan for that, or I don't need to prepare for that. No, we plan and prepare for all work. Proverbs 21:5, the plans of the diligent lead surely to abundance. Think about that. The plans of the diligent lead to abundance, but everyone who is hasty comes only to poverty. If you're planning, the result is abundance. If you're shooting from the hip, the result is poverty. Some of you think you've made a living, you think you've made a career shooting from the hip. You really haven't. Like if destruction hasn't come, it's coming. The Bible is true. What the Bible says is true. The plans of the diligent lead to abundance, but everyone who's in haste comes to poverty. I love what Abraham Lincoln said. Give me 6 hours to chop down a tree, and what's he going to do? He's going to spend the first 4 hours sharpening the axe. He's planning to get the job. Yogi Berra, if you don't know where you're going, you'll end up someplace else. Maybe some of you listening and watching today, you're looking back and you're a few degrees off course. You don't know how you got to where you are. It's certainly not where you thought you would be or where you're going. Maybe the reason for that is you failed to plan and prepare. We got to be diligent. We especially got to be diligent in our work. This means that a diligent man will do practical things like employing a calendar, right? A diligent man keeps a calendar. I know in my life, both in my personal life and in my professional life, like without my calendar, I'd be an absolute wreck. I'd be an absolute mess. So I employ a calendar. A diligent man will enhance his skills and qualifications through education and training. I remember coming into the ministry. Think about this. I came in as a pastor, and I didn't know how to rightly dissect the Word of God. I would just stand up and preach based upon my knowledge or my skill or my ability, but I didn't know how to dissect that Word, how to look at context and meaning and purpose. So what did I do? I went to seminary. Matter of fact, I went to seminary 3 times. Right? I got the skills and the qualifications to do what I was called to do what was in front of me. Some of you guys out there, you're not advancing in your work and you're not getting better at your work, not because you lack a desire, but because you lack the skills, you lack the qualifications to take it to the next level. Get those skills, get those qualifications. You can do it just about anywhere. The diligent man establishes reasonable but goals and objectives that will stretch him, right? The guy that's always under-promising and over-delivering, right? I hear that term a lot. Well, just under-promise so that we can over-deliver. No, that doesn't stretch you. Like if you're always selling yourself short so that at the end you can look good, how are you growing? No, man, set some goals that stretch you a little bit. Set some goals in your work that will make you work a little harder, that may promote a little more diligence, right? And what's the result of that? Well, the result of that is success. Man, if I'm always being stretched and if I'm always growing, if I'm always learning, right, I'm going to be successful. When I think about hiring people, when I think about bringing someone on to our team, the number one thing I look for is that person teachable. Is that person willing to be stretched and willing to grow? That's what we're looking for. Engage in relationships that make your work more effective, right? Engage in relationships that will promote diligence and effectiveness in your work, right? If you're wanting to learn a skill or if you're wanting to seek after a promotion, man, go be with someone who's been there, right? It's the same in your spiritual life. It's the same in your physical life. Like if I want to bench 250 pounds, I don't hang out with a bunch of guys that only bench 125. I go find guys that bench 300 and I hang out and I work out with them. And guess what? After 6 months, after a year, man, I'm benching 250 pounds. You want to excel at your work? You want to get to this place? Go seek out someone who's been there and say, show me the way. The diligent man is never looking for the shortcut. He is prepared for the long haul. Ecclesiastes 9:10, whatever your hand finds to do, do it with all your might. We are not taking shortcuts. Listen to me. The majority of failures in your life, failures in your marriage, failures in your spiritual life, failures in your vocational life, come from the fact that you're taking a shortcut to something God's already promised you. The devil doesn't need you to outright reject or disobey God. He just needs you to take a shortcut. I meet so many men that take shortcut after shortcut after shortcut, and they find themselves spiritually, emotionally, physically, vocationally bankrupt. No, diligent men don't look for shortcuts. As a matter of fact, they know if something comes easy, it's probably not worth it. So they're preparing for the long haul, for the diligent work. Think about this. A diligent man minds his own business and does his job. We see this in 2 Thessalonians chapter 3. Paul warns us that some walk among us in idleness. They're not busy at work, but they're busy bodies, right? They're busy bodies. They're not so concerned with the job at hand. They're concerned with everybody else's business. They're concerned with how everybody else is doing it. I have this rule in my house, and I forgot where I picked this up. I picked this up from someone, but I have this rule in my house that when we have a job to do, when we have work to do, you can tell someone what to do, or you can tell someone how to do it, but you can't tell them both. Some of y'all needed to hear that. Like, that's going to help your marriage, not just your job. You can tell somebody what to do, or you can tell somebody how to do it, but you can't tell them both. You can't tell somebody what to do and then tell them how to do it as well. Or you can't tell them how to do it and then tell them what to do. No. You can tell them what to do, and then you entrust them to do it. Or you can show them how to do it, and then you entrust them to do it. But a diligent man, he minds his own business and he does his job, right? Think about this, a diligent man is often noted for his work and he's promoted in his work. And I'm going to say that again because some of you just pulled back. But a diligent man is often noted for his work, and he's also promoted in his work. And I'm not talking prosperity gospel nonsense. I'm talking the Bible. Proverbs 12:24, the hand of the diligent will rule, while the lazy will be put to forced labor. Proverbs 22:29, do you see a man skillful in his work? He will stand before kings. That's right, brothers. Diligence in our work eventually will be noticed. Eventually, it's going to be rewarded. And that might be on the other side, like it might be before God, but more times than not, it's going to be on this side. It's going to be at your place of employment, right? Daniel and Joseph are great biblical examples of diligence and skill that led to advancement. You see this in Daniel chapter 5. You see it in Daniel 6. You see it in Genesis 39, right? The Lord was with Joseph and he became a successful man. And he was in the house of his Egyptian master. The master saw that the Lord was with him and the Lord caused all that he did to succeed in his hands. So what happened? Man, Joseph was promoted. He was given power and authority and riches, right? Joseph was a diligent man and God rewarded his diligence. More times than not, if you are diligent at your work, you will be rewarded. Now, maybe one or two of you, you're hearing that and you're thinking, well, Chris, I've been diligent for a long time and nobody's noticing, and nobody's rewarding me. Well, God knows. God knows and he notices, and your reward is coming. So we think about being ambitious, we think about being diligent. Let's talk just for a moment about faithfulness, because faithfulness is at the heart of all good work. Faithfulness in your work follows this formula. This is such a good formula. Faithfulness in your work is diligence times time. Diligence over time, right? Eugene Peterson. Long obedience in the same direction. Diligence focuses on working hard during any given task for the duration of the task. Faithfulness is consistently working hard through the course of that task. Faithfulness and diligence. Faithfulness and commitment. I want you to think about faithfulness and commitment. They are key ingredients to what's called process-focused work. Process-focused work helps us stay the course and helps us to be patient for the results. The results are not coming, but they will. Starbucks, the corporation Starbucks, it was 23 years before they ever really started multiplying their stores. But they stayed the course. Proverbs 13:11, wealth gained hastily will dwindle, but whoever gathers little by little will increase it. You got to stay consistent. You got to stay the course. You got to be committed. Process-focused work helps us release expectations and it helps us trust the Lord, right? You have to trust the Lord when you're not seeing the results you thought you would see. Daniel Doriani, I love what he says. He says, we make the biggest difference when we stop calculating and surrender to an inspired indifference to the results. I love that. We surrender to an inspired indifference in the results. Perhaps we can change the world when we stop trying to do so and simply offer what we have. Lord, I'm going to work ambitiously and I'm going to work diligently. God, I'm going to be faithful. Think about this prayer. I'm going to be faithful and I'm going to trust the results to you. Some of you need to stop right now and you need to say that. You need to confess, God, I've been ambitious and maybe I'm ambitious for the wrong reasons. God, I've been diligent or maybe I've been less than diligent. God, and this faithful thing, you know, I'm failing God and I'm not getting the results I want. And you just need to stop. You need to say, you know what, God? I'm going to be indifferent to the results. I'm going to have a inspired indifference, God, and I'm surrendering to you. And maybe you'll start making a difference. Maybe you'll start changing the world when you stop trying to. That's because a process-focused work is work done before an audience of one. And that audience is namely God. It's God who we're working for. Os Guinness in The Call. Everyone should read the book, The Call. Os Guinness in The Call says, we who live before the audience of one can say to the world, I have only one audience. Before you, I have nothing to prove, nothing to gain, nothing to lose. How freeing is that? Some of you men, you've been working for 10, 20, 30, 40 years. You need to say every morning when you wake up, I have nothing to prove, nothing to gain, nothing to lose. I am working for an audience of one. Winston Churchill said, nothing is more dangerous than to live in the temperamental atmosphere of a Gallup poll, always feeling one's own pulse and taking one's temperature. And we don't have to live like that. Faithfulness in your work is going to face obstacles. Satan doesn't want you to be faithful in your work. So let's talk about the faces of deterrence that you've got to be aware of and that you've got to be prepared to deal with as you want to be faithful in your work, right? The first is going to be distraction. Satan wants to distract you. The world wants to distract you. To be faithful in your work, you have to be willing to stay the course and not waver. Proverbs 12:11, whoever works his land will have plenty of bread, but he who follows worthless pursuits, they lack sense. They lack wisdom. So whoever works will not lack bread. I'm going to say it another way, but whoever spends all day on Instagram, Twitter, playing Call of Duty will lack bread, will lack sense, will lack wisdom. Worthless pursuits. Because nothing is neutral. Like the work I do and what I give my time to, it's not neutral. I'm either advancing and glorifying God or I'm not. I'm taking away from it. But it's not neutral. What did Bruce Lee say? The successful warrior is the average man with laser-like focus. I'll say it another way. The Apostle Paul said, when I became a man, I put away childish things. Some of you men watching this right now, you are suffering in your work because you are working like a child. You're still holding on to childish things. Man, let those things go and let's get to work. Another distraction you need to be aware of is haste, right? Haste, that shortcut, right? To be faithful in our work, we can't cut corners. We can't be impatient. Proverbs 28:20, a faithful man will abound with blessings, but whoever hastens to be rich will not go unpunished. I remember I was putting together a model home for my son. We had this project. It was his work. It was his work for school that he had to turn in, and I wanted the glue to dry faster. But I didn't wait for it to dry. So what did I do? I moved the house, and it was like that thing was built on shifting sand, man. It collapsed. Why? Because I wouldn't wait another 30 minutes, another 2 hours for the glue to dry. Some of you, listen to me, some of you've been at your place of employment. Maybe you've been there 6 months, maybe you've been there 6 years. You need to let the glue dry. Wait for the glue to dry before you make a decision or you leave in haste. So distraction, haste. Let's talk about waste. A lot of you you're wasting your gifts, you're wasting your talents, you're wasting your time. Man, to be faithful, you have to own the fact that you're a steward of God's resources. Everything you've been given, your time, your talent, your treasure, everything you give to your work, man, that's not of you. Yes, you were gifted, but you were gifted of God. It's God's resources. 1 Corinthians 4:1, this is how one should regard us, as servants of Christ and stewards of what? Of the mysteries of God. Mysteries of God. Right? Everything God has given us, man, we're His stewards to give back to Him and His creation. It's why Billy Graham said, God has given us two hands, one to receive with and the other to give with. We are just a conduit of God's grace and mercies and gifts and talents. Another thing you need to be aware of is triviality. Right? Triviality. To be faithful, you cannot see small tasks as menial or insignificant. Everything, even the most menial, smallest task, is great in the eyes of God because you're doing it with holy ambition and diligence and faithfulness. Luke 16:10, one who is faithful in a very little is also faithful in much. And one who is dishonest in a very little will be dishonest in much. So guess what? You're probably never going to get much if you can't be faithful with the little things. Man, when little things need to be done around your company, around your office, in your factory, at your shop, when little things need to be done, you are not beneath those things. It's one of my favorite things about Chick-fil-A. I look at these Chick-fil-A owner-operators. These guys are making well into the six figures. They have great careers. They're working for an amazing company. And every time I'm in a Chick-fil-A, man, I'm always meeting an owner-operator that's got a rag washing down a table. I love how they've created that culture in their business that nothing is beneath anyone. Phenomenal. And lastly, one of the things you need to be aware of is don't be short-sighted. To be faithful, you need to see the grand scheme. You need to see how your work plays into a bigger picture of your life and the lives of others. Paul says this to the Corinthians, therefore, my brothers, be steadfast, immovable, always abounding in the work of the Lord. Why? Knowing that your labor is not in vain. Your work matters. So be faithful, be ambitious, be diligent, be faithful. And lastly, man, you've got to have integrity. You've got to be a man of integrity. Integrity is at the heart of all good work. And integrity is possessing a wholeness of character. That's where we get the biblical word from integrity. It comes from the word integer. It's a math term. It's a number that's non-divisible. You can't divide it. It's a whole number. Integrity is the glue that holds all the good attributes of your life together because it can't be divided. Integrity is what makes us the kind of person that can be trusted with responsibility. Integrity, it shows itself in honesty and consistency, especially in the workplace, right? Proverbs 11:1, a false balance is an abomination to the Lord, right? Don't mess with the scales. Don't tip the scales in your favor, man. Be honest. Proverbs 11:3, the integrity of the upright guides them, but the crookedness of the treacherous destroys them. And what I love about integrity is that a man of integrity doesn't have to watch out for his own honor at work. He knows that God takes care of him. Listen to Psalm 41. By this I know that you delight in me. My enemy will not shout in triumph over me, but you have upheld me because of my what? My integrity. And you've set me in your presence forever. By your integrity, God's got your back. And when we think about integrity, man, character matters deeply. A lack of integrity will destroy all the work you as a man have attempted to accomplish. Think about all the pastors and great ministry leaders over the last 20 years who have lacked integrity, who have lacked character, and all that work of ministry gone. Think about business giants, moguls, people who have built great empires, but because they lack character, integrity, all that work is gone. Their skills and their talents took them to a place that their character and integrity could not keep them. Some of you, you're not advancing in your career. God is holding you back because your integrity and your character is just not there yet. God is actually doing you a favor because what He wants to do is He wants to build an integritous man. He wants to build a man of strong character so that when you do get to that place, that elevated place, that platform, your integrity and your character is intact and you won't fall. Some of you, you're being held back right now and you need to thank God for that. And instead of asking for that promotion, you should be saying, God, promote in me integrity. Promote in me your character. I love what Billy Graham said. When wealth is lost, nothing is lost. When health is lost, something is lost. But when character is lost, all is lost. Brothers, I don't want you to lose everything. I want us to be men of integrity, men of character, working with a holy ambition, diligent, persevering, faithful men of character.